Hey everyone, welcome back to the Gleemen. I'm here with my co-host Vance, that way on my screen, and Matt, our good friend and first-time reader.
Hello.
Everyone, how's it going?
So last week we went through Matt's impressions as a semi-experienced, but not avid fantasy reader. His impressions of the Eye of the World. So we got some takes from him, early impressions, how he felt about different characters and plot points. And this week we want to dive into how the Great Hunt landed and how he felt it stuck the landing.
Yeah.
On book 2. Vance, do you have any questions you want to begin with? Or actually, Matt, do you have any unled comments you want to make about this book?
Before we get into the interview process.
Well, I don't, so it is a spoiler, and you can cut this out.
Nah, they've read the book.
Of other books, but
Oh.
Selene is definitely Lanfear. Like, in this book, you just know. It's
Nah,
never
bro.
mentioned in this book. But she's definitely Lanfear.
Yeah.
Even in this
Nah.
book.
Right.
No, she's totally just some random, inexplicably beautiful woman who is
It is
nefariously
the
evil.
most, I'm trying to think of the word, projected, like,
Yeah,
non-secret.
Obvious.
for sure. For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the most obvious secret.
Like, she's really not trying.
No.
I mean,
Like,
she's trying a little bit because she masks her identity. So I put that as like,
Kind of.
that's a 1 out of 10 on the effort scale.
Like, a woman who can channel, who's pretty obviously got some sort of ulterior motive.
No,
And is probably
she
evil.
doesn't have an ulterior motive, Matt. She's too beautiful to have an ulterior motive. How could
Clearly.
she have an ulterior motive?
I mean, Matt, if you found yourself in a mysterious mirror reality that has no human beings or visible life,
I
to
would
speak
definitely
of,
be super calm.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And then you find the hottest woman you've ever seen, like being attacked by frog bears. Like, this
I
is
was talking
normal.
about Selene. Selene being super calm about being attacked by frog bears.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, totally
It's
calm.
just
That's
like
normal.
it's like a minor inconvenience for her.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing to see
Like,
here.
oh no! I'm
Well,
being
Selene-
attacked.
Selene is so beautiful, the frog bears weren't actually attacking. They just wanted a good selfie with her.
Famous for being
Yep.
famous.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so Matt thinks Selene is Lanfear. That's his hot take from...
Matt thinks
The Great
Selene is
Hunt.
Lanfear in the book, where
It confirms that
we don't know that Selene is Lanfear officially.
But do we know?
officially. Yeah. So you put that together just like when she was introduced or along the way. So
Shortly after she was introduced.
yeah.
Because she kept on asking, oh, you should seek out glory, and everyone she met
right.
was like, you should blow the horn of Valir.
Yeah.
You should do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got the feeling it was more so she could control whoever blew the horn.
Yep.
But at that point, she could blow the horn herself and
Right.
control that army too.
Are we gonna make any
Which
jokes about
is
that?
something I don't really understand. I guess she didn't want the glory
Think of the
or the
glory.
responsibility that comes with that.
Yeah. Could be.
Yeah. We could totally take a deep dive into the weird psychology of Lanfear because...
Lanfear's just crazy.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
As far as I can tell.
Yeah.
But
That's fair.
from later books.
So
That's fair.
moving on.
Wait. I have one more.
Oh, okay, fine. I thought we were going to get to do this round robin thing where you asked and I asked, but go ahead, monopolize all the
go.
time. All right. All right. So, similar to the last book, Matt, I want to ask you, who was your favorite character in this one? I'm dying to know who you ended up liking by the end of the book.
Oh, this is gonna be tough.
Mhm.
Farron's pretty close, but Let me think. This is tough.
It actually just gets harder and harder.
I think Rand's finally doing stuff.
Yep.
So I think maybe Rand.
Yeah.
Do you like Rand a lot more?
Yeah,
the
but
second book?
it's tough doing that with Farron around because Farron starts using his powers too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which are cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think part of it though is Rand is a lot less of a blank slate in this book.
Yeah.
There's
something to
right,
it.
Yeah,
There's substance.
So Perrin didn't have to be a blank slate in the previous book because he wasn't the central character. Rand was. But now that we've got a whole book worth of characters and some light world building behind us, we can move into this one where Rand can start really coming out into his own and discovering. We're still on this journey with him, but we get a sense of who Rand is a little bit more, and we get to learn along with him as he's learning, which I think is one of the reasons this book is a bit of a standout in the early sections. Because you're never told how the magic works. You constantly get to see how it works. And that's one thing that just Jordan did pretty well throughout the entirety of the series, is he's very good at show, not tell. So
definitely.
Yeah. Well, Drew, now you can go ahead and take the floor back.
It's not meaningful. I was just gonna make Matt pick between, is Selene actually so beautiful that, is she actually as beautiful as those sequences portray? Is she using magic on Rand, Huron, and Loyal? Or are the three of them just idiots?
I don't think she's using magic on them. I think she's using, the power on herself. Like the Aes Sedai do on themselves.
Right. So what something?
Who knows how?
Something similar to what Moraine did at Baerlon.
Moraine, who knows how old Moraine is? Do we really know? I mean, we probably do know, but
we actually do. But you don't know yet in the series.
But it's like all the Aes Sedai are ageless. I mean, probably except for the very old, but I assume they also live longer, probably, than other normal humans. So
Yep.
Yeah. I think Selene just magic makeup herself.
Okay. That's fair.
Probably.
That's fair. Do you think it's similar to how Moraine made herself appear 50 feet tall in Baerlon and then stepped over the wall?
Probably.
Okay. There we go.
Some sort of illusion.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you can make yourself 50 foot tall, why couldn't you make yourself look like anyone?
Exactly. So.
Even.
Yep.
Yeah. Good take. All right.
Yeah. So, similar to last time, what was your overall impression of this book?
Oh, it was so good.
Okay.
It was so good.
That's a significant improvement over The Eye of the World.
It was
kind of slow.
It was much faster paced. I like
much faster paced.
Well, okay, not much, but it was faster paced enough. I think it hit the sweet spot.
Oh yeah.
Some books just rush through things, but this one I think hit the sweet spot.
Took its time where it needed to take its time, and then was frantic in the parts where you needed it to be frantic.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Vance and I have agreed for years that The Great Hunt is the best pacing in the entire series.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's one of the best paced books I've ever read.
So far, I won't argue.
Yeah. So I also think that The Great Hunt is easily the most cinematic of all the books.
Yeah.
I think there would be very little. There would need to be very little done to it to translate it to screen. If you were going to do it as a standalone kind of deal.
Yeah.
So.
Well, in that note, cinematically, I think the opening sequence with Rand and Lan sword fighting on a tower top, man, spot on.
Yep. Oh, so good.
Season 2 opener.
Pulling at my heart there. Well, maybe it might be in season 1. We don't know. That hasn't been confirmed. So, Matt, moving on to plot point by plot point here, what did you think of the prologue of this book, the Dark Friend Social, as we call it?
Pretty interesting. I still don't know who some of them are, even after 2 more books. Well, 1.5 more books.
Yeah.
But I imagine if I ever reread it, I'll find out some and pick it up. But
yeah.
pretty interesting. And, it also made me believe that, maybe it put some doubt into who they were talking to. And I'll probably, when we do other episodes, I'll talk about the doubt.
Okay.
But,
do you mean like it added an intrigue to the series?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I don't want to spoil stuff.
Well, you just get a little bit... I mean, spoilers for The Great Hunt are totally allowed here. But it's kind of interesting because it gives you that look into the inner workings of the Dark Friends, right? Like, they seem kind of disconnected and random in the first book. But this one gives you that sense that, oh no, there's a much more deeply connected power structure here than we initially thought.
And we also find out that, there are dark friends within the Aes Sedai. Yep. And that was pretty interesting to find out.
Yeah, that's a big turn.
And in the White Cloak as well, which was very surprising because they're all about, like, their whole entire focus is rooting out dark friends, and if one's a dark friend themselves, then, like, what the heck?
Right.
It's so weird.
Awesome. So what do you think about the entire, like, from that point on, like, we move it back into Faldara, where we, as Drew stated earlier, we kind of zoom in on Rand and Lan doing sword fighting training. And then from there we just have several chapters where they're in Faldara. What did you think of those chapters within the fortress / city?
That was probably it wasn't slow, but it was just kind of like a hangout chapter or whatever. I don't know how to describe it. But like, let's let these people unwind now that they've gotten to a friendly place, I guess.
Right.
So when Rand starts deciding, like toward the end of that unwind sequence, when he starts deciding that he needs to get away, did you think his trying to push Perrin and Mat away and Loyal away was believable?
No. No. They better do a better job in the show, because that was like, if you were my friend and you tried to do something like that, well, you are my friend, but if you tried to do something like that, it'd be like,
this isn't suspicious.
Something's wrong.
So
here.
we've stumbled onto how Jordan artificially creates conflict in his novels, which is character says something, makes someone mad, and they don't talk about it, and then they don't communicate.
Oh, that's been used since
I know
the dawn of fiction.
Yeah, I know, right? Jordan uses it a lot, though.
Yeah.
Like, especially in TV shows, it's like, oh, you could solve everything just by calling a person.
That's it's literally called idiot plotting in the industry.
Communication solves everything, but if you don't communicate, you don't have plot.
Right. I mean, we're simplifying it for comedic effect, but I mean that's the essence of why he has a lot. Now there are logical story reasons and character motivations for why they don't want to contact.
Like, I get why he wanted to, but it wasn't convincing.
Right?
You
know? Yeah.
To me as a reader,
well, especially early on, right? Like, this early segment of it is not very well executed, and it's it comes off as like you said, cheesy, comical, like you would see in an old 80s style sword and sorcery film.
Mm-hmm.
Which, in all fairness, is what this series is still breaking out of.
Well, yeah, that's the cultural zeitgeist. It was where it was developed in, right? So
yeah,
but like it hasn't matured yet. I guess. Well, it's only on book 2, so
yeah,
that's fair to say.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Okay, so now that Rand's trying to get away, ta-da! The Amarillions here. Did you like that
Amarillion? The Amarillion? Are we talking about an Amarillo, Texas here? The Amerlin?
Amerlin. Okay.
Sorry, we're gotta give you grief about it.
Amerlin seat.
There we go.
Who?
I need better cereal on hand.
I don't get really.
While I put up with this.
That's fair.
She doesn't have much of a personality in this book, I guess. She's just a figure. That makes sense.
That's fair. I mean, do we even...
Like, she's not a character. She's a...
a position, almost?
A position.
She's the representation of an institution. She could have any name. Yeah, she
could have any name.
She's representative of her institution, is what it is. And so that's what you see.
I feel like it's not until other books that we get who is the Amerlin.
Right.
Why do we even care about her other than she has leadership?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would agree with that. This book is more of an introduction to that role and that position more than the character.
I mean, I don't even think we find out her name in this book. I don't think we do.
Yeah.
I can't.
I think you make.
Can't recall.
I think you make a good point though, Matt, because if just thinking about what you just said, if we got much more depth on her character now, I think that may have robbed some of the mystique of the White Tower as an institution.
Yeah, maybe so.
And that was a lot of the wonder of Egwene and Nynaeve's early time there.
Yeah, so. This is actually
a good transition. Do we get fish puns?
No, maybe not in this book.
Are there fish puns in this book?
I don't recall.
I don't think there are.
I don't think so.
Okay. Anyway, that's a good segue into Egwene and Nynaeve's storyline into the tower. So we can move on to there, and then we can come back to Faldara and follow the boys. So let's go off with the girls first and see what you thought about their little adventures into the White Tower.
Yeah.
Down the river.
Oh, there are fish puns, because there aren't until they actually get to the White Tower. Like, strangely enough, the Amerlin isn't really a person until she's back in the White Tower.
Okay.
I would say. I think that's more
still right. On the old topic and not moving on to the next one. I see. That's fine.
Anyways, here we go. Yes, new topic. Go ahead.
What I already asked you. You just didn't listen to me because you were looking it up on the wiki. So you should stop doing that and pay attention to the conversation. So I said, what did you think of the girls' storyline as they were moving down river and eventually getting into the White Tower so we can move through the book because we only have 10 minutes left. So. For as much pacing as we have in this book, we're going slow. Let's go. Just what'd you think of it? What'd you think of their storyline? We don't have to go into detail.
It was fine. A lot of these riverboat things are just kind of blah to me.
Yeah.
You think the riverboating sections are blah? That's fair.
Okay, so what about when the girls actually get to the tower? Like, because the tower is a magic academy, right? Like Hogwarts or
magical school
things.
trope. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What did you think of it as a magical school? Did you enjoy it? Meh.
It has its moment. It does, and it's not just like teaching people. They have magical artifacts and things like that. We learn about Arangrials there, and everything's like an Angrial, whatever. So we learn that there's these magical artifacts that can be used even without the power. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It makes me wonder if we'll see in the future Like, they said that the way to make them was lost, but I wonder if we'll see in the future if they actually can make more.
Interesting.
I wonder.
Okay, Drew.
Stop leading so much, Drew. But no, seriously. So they got to the tower, and then basically once they're there, they're introduced to some characters we met in the first book, but that they never met in the first book. And they're introduced to a whole bunch of people who all know one specific character in the book.
Yes.
Who's arguably a central character of the books, the most central character.
Last episode, I think I said, all these villages don't really matter. Yep. Well, it turns out some of the people inside of them do.
Turns out some of them do.
I guess Taviran make people into channelers just by being around them, or like?
No.
I think they do shake it. They definitely shake up their lives.
Yes. So we didn't cover this in the previous book, but we do learn from Loyal, who we also didn't cover on the previous episode, that
how dare I?
Oh, Loyal's great.
Loyal's great.
By the way,
I could feel it from your how much you said you liked the Camelin section. So, yeah. So we learned that all three of our main boys are Taviran. The pattern kind of uses them to warp events to its needs. That gives them some special status. Rand is the strongest of the three we learned in this book, and weird things happen around him. Part of that is that somehow all of these
girls decide to take off and explore the world.
All of these girls that he met in the previous book all somehow end up in one spot together and become super best friends, right? Yep. Except for Else. She's the only one. Or Elsa.
Yeah. We're not best friends with her.
Elsa Grinwell. But yeah, so what did you think about Egwene and Nynaeve meeting Elaine and Min? How was that? How did you feel about it?
What a coincidence.
Right.
What a coincidence.
Wow.
Yeah. Boy, howdy.
All these, Min was a surprise because she was not mentioned that much, just that random viewing at the very beginning, and I don't even know if we got her name. Did we get her name at that point?
We did.
We did? Okay. But,
she wasn't emphasized
it was
a lot.
just such a one-off. I thought it was just,
Oh, you didn't fall instantly in love with her pixie cut and the fact that she's not like other girls by wearing boys' clothes?
No, I did not.
Interesting. Okay.
But Matt, she's not like other girls.
She's not like other girls. Come on, Matt. You're supposed to like her so much.
Oh, boy.
Especially now that she's around all the other girls.
Right.
Whom she's not like.
Who she's not like. Except two of them have something in common with her that she likes.
Oh.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right.
Anyway. So, yeah, I think that's that's a pretty good stopping point. Let's circle back to the boys. What did you think about the attack on Faldara, the horn getting stolen, and then the boys setting out after it? And specifically, what did you think?
Horn gets stolen way too much.
It's a lot.
Way too much.
It's a lot. What did you think about Fane and the way he escaped? How creepy was it?
Oh, boy.
Oh, no, just talk to me about Fane in general. I just want to hear your thoughts.
Okay. So, he's been possessed.
By?
So why is he working for the Dark...
By? Who's he been possessed by?
By the Dark Lord.
Who's he been possessed by?
By Mordeth.
Okay, there we go.
So why is he working for the Dark Lord still? Because I thought Mordeth was in opposition of the Dark Lord, even though they're kind of identical.
So that's interesting, right?
Sort of.
So, do you not remember that Fane was actually
Fane is a dark friend
for the Dark Lord? Like, he has something done to him that makes him...
So, is he just confused all the time? Like, with Mordeth saying, no, I don't want to work for the Dark Lord. And Fane being like, I have to because I've been bonded by oath or whatever.
Well, at this point, Padan Fane and Ordeith, as he calls himself, are still distinct personalities. He has yet to come to a unity within himself.
Yep, he's very, very disassociative in this book.
And we see the results of him being Mordeth with him killing that Murdrel.
Mm-hmm.
That was epic. I got chills when I read that the first time.
Like, we see what happened to the Murdrel, but we don't, like, what kind of powers does Mordeth actually have? Is he just super strong? Or is he a smoke monster type, fog monster type thing?
There's theories about it, and you will get more on it later.
Okay.
We don't want to tell you too much about what he does this early on, because you really don't get a chance to see much of it.
Because we don't see.
Now, here's the thing. You do see a little bit of it. You do see a little bit of his powers in Faldara.
Oh, yeah.
And what they kind of encompass, but I'm going to leave that to you to put together as you read.
And I know the wolves hate him.
Yes.
Oh,
They hate him with a fiery passion.
So, anyway, what did you think about...
Thane is fascinating.
So, anyway, the horn gets stolen. The boys set out.
Again.
They go on their little adventure with the Shienarans, led by Inktar. You know, they've got their whole chase scene, and then you know, I felt like all of that was really cool. We see Rand come into his own a little bit more. We get introduced to Huron, right?
Yep.
So that whole section, how did you feel about it? It's not just a ton of like action, but it's a lot of minor world building and character development.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, sorry for the cut there. Drew actually had to run and go take care of something, so it's just me and Matt for the rest of the episode. I think we left off with talking about the chase from Faldara, right? Chasing after the horn with Rand and Inktar and the boys. So, what were your thoughts on that entire section? It's like multiple chapters.
So normally I would say it would be kind of slow, or not slow, but chase scenes and things like that aren't usually my bag.
Right.
But this was actually pretty entertaining because there was variety to it.
Right.
Like the party splits, the party meets back eventually.
We'll talk about why the party split.
Yeah. The portal stones, very interesting concept to add, with them being like precursor to the ways or whatever. That's pretty interesting. And also the fact that like they're like a mirror world or whatever. That's pretty cool. We end up meeting Selene, who's definitely Lanfear.
So what do you think about the mirror world?
It makes me wonder. I think this was probably answered in a different book, but it makes me wonder, is there a world where the Dark One, like the Dark One exists in every world, probably, because it's a primal force.
Yep.
But is there a world where the boar was never created?
So, I mean,
well,
given the fact that Jordan did introduce, a multiverse, for lack of a better term, or at least parallel worlds where they all run in a similar fashion to each other, but there's minor differences, it does stand to reason that enough, standard deviations from the baseline reality, which it is confirmed that the reality our character's in is base reality. So everything outside of that is a mirror of it. And the further you get away from the reflection of that, the more different it becomes, the less tangible they are. So while, yes, there probably is a mirror world out there that exists like that, it could be almost made of mist because it is so far removed from the reality that they live in, if that makes any sense.
Okay, so the further you get from the prime world, the less stable the world is, I guess.
Stable or like coherent in some fashion. So
more twisted and strange it is.
So who do you think? How do you think Rand and Huron and Loyal got to the mirror world?
Well, I obviously know because I'm on.
Do you know? 4, do you?
But... Oh.
So there are a couple of camps. There are a couple of camps to this. Was it Selene who channeled Rand through the portal stone, or did Rand channel on accident while he's asleep?
I think Rand channeled on accident while he was asleep.
Interesting. So you think Egwene's dream where she sees a beautiful woman standing over Rand as he sleeps has no impact on this? Fun.
Okay. Let me think. No, I still think Rand channeled in sleep.
All right.
Because he does a lot of things in later books just on accident.
I mean, everyone does a lot of things in the books on accident, to be completely honest. But I'm in the camp that Lanfear handled them over there.
Oh, now okay. Why would she be in there in the first place if you didn't know he was going to be in there? Okay, I agree with you now.
Okay, yeah,
you've convinced me.
Go. So I have converted you to my theories. Take that, all of you Rand did it in his sleep fans. But
you've convinced me, because why would she be in there? It's not like
another thing, character specifically, I want to touch on that we haven't yet is what'd you think of Farron in this book? She's more introduced in this time. We already met her back at Valdara, but we get to interact with her a lot more.
Very sneaky.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, interesting words for a Brown.
I don't know what her... Because she wasn't part of Moraine's OG group.
Yeah.
She just kind of found out on her own. Mm-hmm. So, like, what is her... We don't really know her motivations.
Yeah. Interesting.
And she keeps on putting her nose into stuff and trying to be involved when, a normal person would be like, oh, well, you're doing that? Well, I'm just going to stay out of this because that's kind of a big thing. And as far as I can tell...
Well, but she's not necessarily a normal person, right? Quote unquote normal. Yeah, she's an Aes Sedai.
But for normal Aes Sedai, being involved with that, according to Amyrlin Seat, would get you not gentle, but what's the other thing?
Stilled.
The opposite. Stilled. Yeah. Being involved, like trying to control the Dragon Reborn, would get you stilled.
Okay.
So why is she risking that? I mean, we know why Moraine is, I guess, sort of. And we know why the Amyrlin Seat is. But we don't know why she's involving herself. Like, she knows about it.
Right.
Because she's intuitive. But why is she involved?
Yeah.
Why is she risking everything?
Exactly. All good questions. I mean, stuff that will maybe eventually get answered as you read.
I still don't know.
So, yeah. But. Yeah. I liked her a lot from the moment she was introduced. It's kind of that, like, intuitive nature. She knows a lot about what's going on already. Her motives are unclear. It's very similar to how Moraine was portrayed in the first book. We were not clear on where her motivations lied, right? Like, what was her purpose?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with Farron in this one, though I think RJ did a better job of it in this book. Now, granted, if maybe this was different for readers who got to read the books as they were coming out and they picked up Eye of the World in 1990 and read it with nothing else afterwards, but I didn't have that. You and I didn't have that luxury because I started reading in 2005. So I was kind of like already knew where Moraine's story was going to go just from looking at all the other books and their covers. And I didn't have that mystery, but with Farron in The Great Hunt, I did have that sense of mystery and I didn't know what she was looking for.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you kind of echo that sentiment.
I mean, I got some theories, but I don't really want to put them out.
That's fine. They might, you don't want to have any potential spoilers.
I don't want to color anyone.
Right.
Anyone's opinions.
So moving on from that, and after the Mirror World, what do you think of the entire section where it's just Rand and Huron and Loyal, and they're going to Camelin?
That was
not Camelin.
That was pretty interesting.
Kyrian.
Yeah, Kyrian.
That other sea city.
Yes. That was good. That was a good settled down period like we got in Camelin.
Right. What did you think of the introduction to the Kyrianen as a people?
Oh boy. I don't really know if I like them. they're too extra.
So you don't like you don't like the Great Game? Is that what I'm hearing? You don't like Dies Tomorrow?
It's a little confusing. Like, is it just a game of assassinations, or is it a game of trying to get the upper hand in politics?
Political
both.
Political machinations through any means necessary, often coupled with intense speculative information gathering.
I mean, is it like playing the stock market?
Yeah, maybe.
In politics?
Could be.
Or, I don't know.
Could be.
And it's a little confusing.
That's fair.
And, like, is that really a game, or is that just politics in general? Because it just kind of seems like politics in general.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's definitely based off of some of that, like, noble house movement politics stuff that would later come to the forefront of fantasy in, like, series like A Song of Ice and Fire, right? So, what'd you think of a specific character return?
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
It warmed my heart. I was so worried in book 1.
Really? Okay.
Like, because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know if he was going to return. It's like, oh, he's back.
Fantastic.
They just started describing him, and I was like, oh, this is great. So
we're talking about Tom, for those who want us to just go out and say it, because
best boy is back.
Exactly. So you enjoyed that part. I'm glad.
Yeah. Well,
and I can't believe that
it's such a tragic hero or tragic.
You thought he wasn't going to come back. Is that what I'm hearing?
I didn't. I thought he was dead. I mean, Moraine kept on saying he was alive, but I was like, I mean, he's got daggers up against a Myrtle. Okay, sure. Yeah, he's gonna survive.
Interesting.
If you say so, Moraine. But now he did.
Yeah.
It turns out the Myrtle didn't care at all about Tom. So okay.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you were happy he came back.
Which now makes a lot of sense, but at the time I was like, oh, wow.
Right.
This is crazy.
So, I mean, moving on into the end of the book, just for sake of brevity here, we know that Rand and company meet back up with Inktar and the rest of the Shinarans. They take a portal stone.
Yeah.
In an attempt to reach Falma.
Faldara.
No, Falma.
Falma.
So they can go get the horn back from Thane. Who we didn't mention that Rand stole it. So yeah, like you said, the horn gets stolen. Thane stole the horn at the beginning. Then Rand stole it back. Then Thane stole it again.
For something being in a super, super heavy chest, he
just makes Trollocs
a little ridiculous.
He just makes Trollocs carry it. Not that heavy for them.
I guess.
They're Beastie Boys. So, well, and we didn't talk about this in the girl storyline, but they also end up over in Falma.
Oh, the girl storyline was so good.
That's what I wanted you to say earlier about it, and you were just like, well, I didn't really like it at the White Tower.
Well,
blah, blah.
Until
I wanted you to take their story all the way to Falma, and then we were going to circle back. But you never did.
Like, until like the second half of the book, there was no particularly good girls.
Okay, but in the second half of the Great Hunt, you like their story. You think it's interesting.
Sure.
So
the White Tower is not as interesting. The White Tower itself is, but like their story at the White Tower isn't particularly.
But so you think when they get tricked into going to Falma and Egwene is captured, that and Nynaeve and Elaine have to save her.
The description of the Damane, the Idom, and the Sean chant in general are just so great. More Sean chant.
You want more Sean Chan? Okay.
More
Sean Chan, Jordan. He demands it.
I mean, that's not really possible, but more.
Oh, we'll see.
Rest in peace.
We'll see. So what did you think about them collaring channelers and using them essentially as super weapons?
So from a like in our world, that'd be horrific and terrible.
Right.
But I mean, Aes Sedai, male specifically, Aes Sedai, were responsible for the breaking the world. Who's to say that women couldn't at some point go crazy too?
Okay.
You know, they're these powerful, almighty powerful, can be weapons. Just because Aes Sedai take the oath to not be weapons doesn't mean that handlers in general can't be weapons. We've seen it with Logain and with the unnamed dragons, and you know, they're just insanely powerful. It's like having an army. If you have a particularly strong channeler, it's like having half an army or a whole army just by yourself. So you think that something happened over in the Shan-Chan homeland that maybe justified their if they're enslavement? I imagine male channelers are everywhere.
Well, but they don't have male channelers chained. It's only female channelers.
No, what I'm saying is the breaking happened everywhere.
Yeah, it did. But you think there was something that happened in the Shan-Chan homeland that created a culture where they view it as acceptable to enslave channelers for the benefit of the Empire and the quote-unquote common non-channeling people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still think that that's not right. Even in
but you think
the sense of their world.
But you think there's a story reason that they could use to justify.
They think it's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's interesting. That's more than I thought about it when I first read it. I was just like, oh, there's just more bad guys.
Like, I don't know what could have happened. Maybe some women Aes Sedai tried, or not Aes Sedai, but handlers tried to usurp a throne or something. I don't know. But
that's fair. That's fair.
That's what I think.
Good. I mean, solid theory for sure. We'll see if it holds up to the test of time in the book.
Was it Turok?
High Lord Turok?
I don't think. I don't know if we ever got confirmation that he was a Dark Friend, but he was definitely working with a Dark Friend.
Yeah,
Did we get
I don't think
confirmation that
he was a Dark Friend. I don't think he was a Dark Friend.
Okay.
But you know that Duroth was a Dark Friend.
Yes. Okay.
So, what did you think of the entire ending sequence from Nynaeve and Elaine capturing a Suldam and collaring her to go get Egwene?
Oh, and so good. Then like such a great payoff.
Rand and the boys going into town to steal the horn back. Like that whole ending sequence. What do you think about it?
Such a great payoff. Like justice.
Yeah.
It was like they didn't kill they didn't kill those people. I imagine their lightning strikes probably kill some people, or their earthquake fireballs. But that sequence of them dealing with just the Soldam and the Damani that they dealt with at that point, that was justice. That was so great.
Okay, that's good. And what did you think about the heist into the city to steal the horn back?
It's a little funny.
Yeah, it was. I thought it was a lot of fun. It reminded me of like some of those scenes in like the Ocean's movies where they start to execute the plan.
Like they start to execute the plan, then the plan just completely falls apart,
exactly.
and they have to just deal with it.
What did you think of?
And they did.
What did you think of Inktar's reveal?
Oh boy, was not expecting that. But he got a little bit of redemption. I'm hoping his soul is okay. But
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's one of the. I think that's a
that
high
hit
point.
hard.
Yeah. So you didn't pick up any clues that you thought he would be a Dark Friend necessarily, or did all of his behavior make sense?
He was kind of.
Did it start to make sense?
So he was obsessed with the horn just as much as Selene was obsessed with people I wonder if Selene is who convinced Inktar to become a dark friend for the glory.
No, I don't think so.
No, you don't think so?
No, I think he became a dark friend far before she's ever in the picture.
Okay.
He even tells you why he became a dark friend in his little.
It's okay. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been like 3 weeks since you finished the book. That's fair. So.
I've been marathon reading these, or marathon listening to them.
So he basically said he went over to the Shadow because he wanted to find a way for the Shadow to spare Shinar. He was fed up with the Borderlands having to bear the burden of protecting the Southlands. And so that's why he went over. Ultimately, for selfless reasons, which typically doesn't happen. It's mildly selfish because for his own people, but it's also selfless in a way. It's not the typical dark friend method. So then his return to the light there, self-sacrifice at the end. It's one of those what I think a lot of people would call like I cried man tear moments for guys. That's what we would say. So Oh, and this happened before, but what'd you think about Rand defeating Turok and becoming a Blade Master in full after only one book of sword training and maybe 30 days in a book of sword training? What'd you think?
Like he defeated Turok, but I don't know if I kind of feel like it was just maybe Turok had a bad day. I don't know.
Rand's Ta'veren nature, maybe?
Yeah. Like a fluke.
Mm-hmm. Well, he did train with Lan.
So much to learn.
He did train with Lan, though.
Yeah. But like the warders trained probably like for years.
Yeah. That's true.
So
it's true. So interesting. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, yeah, you can pick up on things really fast, but there is a limit. There must have been some sort of luck or some sort of just severeness.
Yeah, I think it was
like I wouldn't say severeness is the same as luck.
I think agreed.
That's like fate being changed.
Right. Yeah, I do think it's some of his Ta'veren nature coming through there to help him out in the end. So, well. What did you think about the horn scene?
That was unexpected.
Yeah.
But pretty interesting, and I think it'll be pretty interesting going forward that Matt was the one who sounded it.
Right.
That's just crazy.
Horn sounder.
Why would he do that? Matt, who wants nothing to do with anything.
Well, but he also wants to live. He wants to live more than anything.
He also wants to live, yes. But it's just crazy. Very, very crazy scene.
And what'd you think about the sky battle? And specifically, do you think they should keep the sky battle for the TV show? Or should they drop it?
It was a little confusing, the sky battle.
Right.
Like, how big were they? Were they the same size?
No, you could.
Were they giant?
They were giant, yeah.
They were giant.
They were giant.
That's kind of what I figured out.
So you remember?
Why were they giant?
Did you watch season 2 of Avatar, Korra? The Legend of Korra. Did you watch season 2 of it?
Yeah.
You remember the end of it where she and Unalaq get big and they have their giant kaiju battle in the water?
And Vatu?
Yeah. You remember when she and Unalaq have their kaiju battle in the water?
Yeah.
That's what I felt this was. I felt like this was like
Okay.
Godzilla versus King Kong for the first time.
I get that, but like, why? Like, maybe I can understand why they're dancing in the clouds, but why did they become giant? Except to just like show off.
To prove to everyone present that was the dragon, right? This is the dragon reborn. Though he has not yet declared this is the one.
I mean, I feel like just any crazy channeler could probably do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's never really explained how that happens, unfortunately. So we're still theorizing about it. But
does that mean Rand can fly?
No,
can Rand fly?
No, they weren't flying. They were just fighting in the sky somehow.
Okay.
Yep. So, what do you think they should keep that or cut it from the TV show?
It needs some editing. I don't know what, but there's something.
Right. Well, I'm going to tell you what I think needs to happen. And this is my opinion. I think they need to keep the Horn of Valir and blow it, and have that whole epicness, because that's my 100% favorite part of the books, and I will be sad forever if it gets cut from the show. But they need to cut the sky battle because it doesn't make sense at all. It needs to they can cut that part out. We don't need it. Rand doesn't need to fight Baalzamon a second time, or a first time, really, at the end of the Eye of the World. They can just cut both those fights. And
well, then how will he get the injury that
he
never
can get
heals?
He can get
whatever?
it when he fights him. Only the one time.
The second time.
Only the one time he would in the TV show.
Yes.
He can get it that way.
Okay.
So, there we go. We don't have to worry about it. It's done. I fixed it.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. Except, how will you get the epicness of, you know, there was a battle in Falma, and
they'll just...
we think this guy may be the dragon.
I mean, Rand could channel. I think he could channel. He could channel in the fight, and that would.
But I mean, at that point, he's just another.
Plus, he would be
right?
no, because he's leading the heroes of the Horn on a charge.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So,
okay.
I mean, he's not just some false dragon. He has heroes of legend behind him.
People think that he blew the horn.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So there you go. And going on for the wrap up here, you know, we see that Rand does get injured, crashes from the sky into a house. Min finds him, and then lo and behold, who shows up behind her? Dun dun dun. I'm asking you, who shows up behind her?
I can't
It's
remember.
Lanfear. Finally revealing that Selene was Lanfear the entire time. Ha 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 ha! I tricked you, reader. Like that.
I can't.
Oh man. Anyway. Yep. So overall, what's your thoughts on the book?
Great. It was a great book.
Would you say it's better than Eye of the World?
Yes. Great pacing.
Okay.
Great action. A lot of world building. A lot of character development. Not as much as I would like, I think. Well, no.
It's happening. It's at a slow pace.
It was a little heavy for some characters, and I think it could be a little more spread out. But great story. Great character development.
So would you say that this is a book that would hook readers on the series more than Eye of the World, since you liked it better?
I think so, and I almost wonder, like, if you were to write some sort of prologue or novella as like a prequel to this, other than Eye of the World, I think you could go into the series easier. I mean, that may be like blasphemy or something. But
to some, it might be. So,
like, Eye of the World was just... it's such a strange story now that I've read 4 books, or 3.5 books.
Right.
That just seems so separate.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's an element of that to it. I think part of that feeling is that Jordan didn't fully have the metaphysics worked all the way out. He didn't have... he had his ending, basically, by the time he was done with the Eye of the World. He knew where he wanted to go, where he wanted to end, how he wanted it to end.
Yeah.
But he didn't necessarily know how he's going to get there. He knew he had a general plan, and he had some events he wanted to cover, but the path to those events wasn't all the way mapped out, I think. And so that's how we ended up with 14 books as opposed to 3 or 6 or 10 or 12 at various points as it was stated the series was going to be. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I kind of feel like you could write like 4 or 5 prequel chapters to that book. And
drop some of the detail.
The first book.
Drop some of the detail out of the Eye of the World and just
Yeah.
condense it down to like 200 pages.
It would make a super long first book. But
yep.
Who knows?
All right. Well, there we have it. Hot takes. Coming in from a new reader. Hot takes, everybody. hide your precious opinions and feelings. These new readers don't care about them. So
you get so much hate mail.
No, you'll be fine. Everyone enjoys these perspectives. Otherwise, they wouldn't want to hear from people who are just getting into it. So it's fun, and I mean, your mind will change by the time you get to the end, right? Like I know my mind changed on multiple things throughout the series, and even on my reread now that I'm doing, I'm still changing my mind on things. And as you discuss and interact with people in the community and get different perspectives, your mind changes. So it's one of those things. It's one of the best part about the series is the community around it. So, well, that's going to be it for this episode, everyone. I have been Vance from the Gleemen. That has been Matt. Which way? This way? This
Hello.
way? That
Goodbye.
way? Yeah. Can I get my? Yep. There we go. That has been Matt. Drew was here, and he is sadly gone, departed now. So, as always, go ahead, like the video if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, subscribe, hit the bell icon, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and we will catch you next time.